Good.
Then they can call it. Then we can
Okay,
say we won.
Lightning.
6 PM, we'll call the meeting to order. Clerk, may I have a roll call and establishment of a quorum?
Cindy Byteam, Mary Beth Shaw. Here. Barb Stotts,
Here.
Mike Wagner,
Here.
Matt Crowe.
Here.
Dylan Helmenstein.
Here.
And I'm here as well.
I have proof of posting. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing done. Mary Beth?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Dylan?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. I don't believe there's a public. We'll just grab this, the official.
This is an open meeting, and no, I shut this door for a year because of the noise in the gym. But this door is open, so we're good. Still open.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the Board of Education meeting minutes of September 11th, 2023?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? You're done. Mary Beth?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Dylan?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. Moving on to district business, we have a donation. Do I have a motion to approve $2,000 donation from the Sauk Prairie Healthcare Foundation for the courtyard project?
So moved.
Angie doesn't watch the hand raise though, Mary Beth.
I heard her.
I heard her though.
Okay.
I heard her though.
Any additional
Yes, I have
information?
a comment,
Yes.
and I'm on there.
Excellent.
This was an off-cycle grant that we made because we got a big pocket of money, and I thought, everybody thought it was a very worthwhile thing, and Mr. Hopper sent his slideshow, and everybody just loved it. And then, just to let you know, that the Sauk Prairie Healthcare Foundation does give a lot of grants every year. We're coming up on the deadline, and Kim has gotten stuff, I used to get stuff. So they're a wonderful organization, and they give to everybody in their catchment area. It's
Awesome.
really good.
Well, thank you for vouching for this stuff in our courtyard project. Thank you to the Sauk Prairie Healthcare Foundation. Any other discussion? All right, you're done. Mary Beth?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Yes.
Dylan?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. All right, moving on to 5.1. We have special guests here tonight. We welcome with delight to hear about your field trips, which we have not made a decision on yet.
So you need to convince us.
No pressure.
Well, I'll start. So my name is Kim Hauser. I'm the FFA advisor. This is my 26th year in education, so I'm hoping that it's the best one yet. I brought 7 of my 9 officers, and they'll introduce themselves to you about our overnight trips. Just a little background of our FFA chapter. We're a pretty strong organization, and the FFA is open from anyone in 7th grade, and then they can stay an FFA member until they're about 21, 22 years old. So within our chapter, we have anywhere between 50 and 75 FFA members. These young people have a lofty goal this year of 62 members, I think. I can't remember the specifics, but we had our first FFA meeting last Monday. And how many did we have there? 45 people, I think, came to the meeting. So that was fun to see them gather in the ag room and, just get excited about the upcoming year. So we do want to thank you over the years for your support of all of our trips and activities, whether they're recreational events or community service projects. We just appreciate all the support from our administration as well as our board. So without further ado, I'll introduce the first crew to talk to you a little bit about our National FFA trip.
So hi, my name is Alyssa Perel. I am the vice president this year for the FFA team, and I'm a senior. So I'll be talking about the National FFA Convention trip that is held in Indianapolis, Indiana from October 31st to November 4th. So we go on a coach bus with 3 other school districts, including Sauk, Columbus, and Lodi. On our way down there, we'll stop at several agricultural related tours, the Janesville Elk Farm this year, a confectionery, bakery, and a feline rescue center. While we're there, we will attend different workshops. There are leaders from all across the country that come to teach us leadership skills and leadership workshops. There are also CBE teams that you can do with FFA, and there's a lot of CBE workshops. That's one that I'm excited to attend, is the CBE workshop for vet science.
My name is John Doyle. I'm serving as this year's chapter president, and I'm a senior. At National Convention, there are 9 general sessions that we'll go to. During the opening session, there will be a speaker whose name is Juan Bendanya. He's going to focus and talk to us about guiding mainly younger students through school and helping you focus on productivity and basically optimizing your life. And then in the 4th general session, we'll have our main speaker, whose name is Corey Flournoy. He was the first African-American national president of the FFA, the national FFA. And he has his master's in agricultural education, so he'll have a lot to talk to us about. And then at National Convention, we'll go to the Career Expo. Basically, hundreds of businesses and schools come out to the Career Expo, and they offer scholarships and career opportunities and pathways. And they'll try to talk to all of us, even though there'll be like 100,000 everybody. They'll try to talk to all of us, and there's great scholarship and career path opportunities that you can go down, not only in agriculture, but also like engineering and all sorts of fields. So there's plenty of opportunities for everybody.
My name is Lauren Adler. I'm this year's secretary and I'm a junior. So when we go to National Convention, we also do some fun activities, including with the 3 other schools that we go with. The first one we go to this year will be Dave & Buster's in Indianapolis. And then we'll go to Gainbridge Fieldhouse to listen to Dylan Carmichael opening for Lainey Wilson in concert, which is only with FFA members around the country there. And then we're also going to the World's Toughest Rodeo as the last event with FFA members. Okay, and next we have the Mission Impact Conference in November through the 16th and 17th in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We take 8 total people, 4 people that are freshmen and sophomore, which will be in the Impact Conference, and then the other 4, junior and senior, are going for the Mission Conference. I think I did that backwards.
Hi, my name is David Dasher, and I'm a sophomore this year. I'm also the student advisor. The Mission Conference is a chance for new or younger members to find a goal or a mission with anything FFA related or really anything. And the Impact Conference is for reoccurring or older members to learn how to achieve those goals and plan what they made at Mission Conference.
I'm Laura Redmond, and I'm this year's treasurer, and I'm a sophomore. And from January 12th through the 13th is the Halftime Leadership Conference in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. It is put on by the state FFA officers, and we are able to take 2 officers or 2 very active members.
So in this halftime conference, it mainly is the 2 officers, because we do a lot of the inside work of FFA in the workshops. So we do a lot of working on our social media, our Food for America programs, our membership recruitment, and our national chapter award, other things for banquets. So it's a really educational workshop that helps us improve those things within FFA to make it better for our chapter and hopefully everyone else around us.
Hi, my name is Charles Croson. I'm a freshman this year, and I'm this year's reporter. In January, with a date yet to be determined, FFA is planning on taking our officer team to the Wilderness Resort in Wisconsin Dells to help us plan the rest of our year.
Hello, my name is Ashel Chansky. I'm your parliamentarian this year, and I'm a junior. During this retreat, we are going to plan both more fun and educational activities such as Food for America, and more volunteer community service activities such as the potential cleanup of Black Earth Creek. We are also going to be planning our end of the year banquet and just having fun at the resort. Thank you for your time. Do you have any other questions?
Well done, you guys.
Yep. Is the National Convention always in Indianapolis?
So it's on a 7-year cycle, but the city of Indianapolis donates about $1 million a year to the FFA, so I don't imagine that it will ever leave Indianapolis. They used to have it in Louisville, which was great because they have way better tour options in Louisville, but Indy's got a great layout for the conference.
Yeah.
So.
Do they still have the Washington Leadership Conference also?
You still have that, yeah.
Do we send participants?
We don't usually because it's gotten so expensive.
Yeah,
It's about $2,000 a person.
yeah.
So I would rather use the funds to be able to send, 12 kids to national
I
convention.
was in Ohio, so we were close to DC.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think this group's a great group to have. I think what you guys do is great. The only thing I would challenge you guys to do is keep up some of those traditions at the national convention.
You know what? No, that's not necessary.
Somebody's got the in.
You are so mean. So for those of you that don't know,
There's an inside joke here.
when I do group checks in the evenings for the children, they usually try to scare me, and it's horrible.
Oh, yeah.
It's really, really mean, and it's awful. And I thought maybe it died with Wags, but apparently, thanks a lot, Mike.
It's really funny to see.
No, it's not funny. It's horrible.
Well, that's up to John now.
Wags brought
You
it
know?
back, so we gotta keep it going.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
How many hours a week, a month have y'all been putting in so far this year or in the summer for your positions?
Depends on the week of the month.
June was crazy. June was nuts with these guys. We were done with school.
We spent like the first 2 weeks.
I think the first 2-3 weeks of summer, we were all together. 'Cause
Wow.
We were just doing stuff around the
Basically
state.
just playing the first half of the year.
And then we went to the state FFA convention. So it was like 2 weeks
It was
back to back where I saw them every day, all the time. All the time. Yeah, right? And
Nice.
But they're awesome, so,
We
yeah.
basically talk at least once or twice a week.
And could you remind me what award our FFA got this year or slash FFA advisor got during the summer?
Uh-huh.
I
Stand up.
can't quite remember what award was gotten.
So Wisconsin Heights was awarded the Outstanding Agriculture Program in June from the State Agriculture Teacher Association.
It must be nice to be an FFA leader with such an experienced person advising you throughout the whole year.
They do great. They don't need me.
I moved out here for training, but when I was looking for a place to build a house, I wanted to be in a district that had a strong FFA program like what I had grown up with. And it is a unique that not others, I mean, I don't think we take it for granted, but we have such a tremendous program here. I mean, it's a unique thing that is a draw, I think. I mean, literally, that was a check on my box for moving to this district.
That's nice to hear. Well, but I will honestly say that it takes a village. You can't do it with just the advisor. You have to have strong administration. You have to have a strong school board. You have to have awesome kiddos, and you have to have supportive parents, and we have all of that here. So that's why it's so good.
Well, the fact that you had 40-plus members come back and meet your room, that's a testament to all the work everybody
real
does.
loud.
Yeah. All right, well, now it's time to ask for a motion to approve the FFA overnight trips for the 23-24 year with an also approval note to crank.
I'll make that motion.
I will second that.
Any further discussion? Thank you guys so much for coming, though. We love it.
Thank you.
To see you and to hear from you, and we wish you all the best and fun on your adventures. So, Mary Beth?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Dylan?
Yep.
Angie?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well.
As long as there's video evidence.
Well, there was a TikTok floating around last week that I saw from last year, so. Is it all right if we?
You're free to
Yes.
go.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Gabby.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, next up in district business, we will be discussing possible action to approve 2 new drama positions. Who would like to talk about that?
Kendra?
Sure. So our drama program continues to grow, and with that, we have a few community members who have really stepped up and helped out in both the technology and the sound area. So the technical director position. Kyle Schaefer has been doing it for years, just out of the goodness of his heart. And he also jumps in other areas, like you put in the hearing for graduation, and is just an asset to our community and to the drama program. And we want that to continue, and also to value his time, and then also knowing that, eventually he, could move on to other things as his children continue to grow. And so, but we really do need that for us and for successful production. So requesting for a stipend for that position of $1,250. And then the other position is adding in a choreographer and dance teacher for the musicals. Currently, Faith Phelan has been doing 2 roles as one, as the director and the choreographer, and to really take things up to the next level, having somebody full-time for the choreographer is going to allow that opportunity for our students to really understand how that choreography works, and then also give our students who are not doing the dancing or doing the other parts of musicals, like the singing aspect, give Faith more time then to coach them on their singing. So again, we have one person doing both roles. It'd be great to be able to hire a choreographer, or if Faith moves in that direction, hire somebody for another spot. And then also showing the value of their time with $1,000 stipend for that as well. So it's a good problem to have. Our program continues to grow, and just will give us more opportunities for our students, the more people we have on board to help them learn the intricacies.
So how much does Faith get right now? Do you know?
Ooh, I'd have to check.
As a director?
Yeah.
She splits it between her and Nick. They pool the co-director and the director, and then they split that 50.
So what was it?
I think it's $17.50 each, I think.
Yeah, the hours that they put in
Right.
are numerous.
Typically, any new position, whether it's a staff position teaching or a co-curricular, they come up in the spring. We like to, monitor any new staff so we can, prioritize with, everything else that we're dealing with. There's always things that come up during the school year. Not to say that we're not talking about, money, because we are, but there's places in the budget that have a little bit of flexibility. We know we overspend, we know we underspend. And quite frankly, these are a couple positions that should have been in place, a while ago in terms of, if nothing else, but equity. But I certainly support moving forward on this.
Any other questions or discussion?
Are these gonna also have, like as an experience goes up, if somebody stays over 5 years, built in, like the other curriculars?
Our current co-curriculars, with coaching, we have the plan that's based off of years. Does the other one
Yeah,
as
it
well?
goes by the year.
But I'm just saying if
Yeah.
one,
It would
if
apply
one,
if this is the
it'll
same kind of
happen.
situation.
Yeah, so it's for the 0 to 5 years is the base, and then they hit the 6 to 10 years, it's a 10% raise for those 6 years or 5 years, and then we hit 11 years, it's another 10% raise.
And then I was looking at the handbook, and I'm sorry I didn't say this earlier, but it's split out for director musical versus non-musical. Will this be like a year-round appointment for $1,000 stipend for both?
So to check what it says there, with musical choreographer, that would be for the musical.
Musical.
But then, the other one is for both responsibilities.
Well, I think this is long overdue. You said the time, energy, hours that these people put into all of that kind of stuff. And we're proud supporters of FFA, sports, and drama and music's no different. And we need the help and the mentors, and they deserve to be compensated for it. Yep.
They're more in line with a coaching position with a specific sport. There's a season versus the last position that you as a board approved was the weight room coach. That's year round.
Right.
So a little bit, it's not necessarily, it's always year round, but the performances are separate, seasonal, yes. Thank you.
Okay, do I have a motion then to approve the new drama positions of drama, technical director, and music choreographer, dance teacher for 2023-2024?
I'll move to.
I'll second.
Did that work, too?
And so, do we want it 2023, 2024, or just approve the positions indefinite? I mean, will we have to approve those every year?
No, those are built in.
Okay.
Well, they're in the handbook.
Yeah, they would be
Right.
approved. Gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect, all right.
I'll just say, in my personal opinion as a school board member, I'm happy we're adding these, and I do think we have some ways to go in strengthening our performance arts and paying folks who are already doing those. Bev was able to send me over some figures quick of our co-curriculars, and from what I can see, performance arts are about 14% of what we spend for folks who are advisors or directors and everything, compared to sports, which are about 25% for fall, 25% for spring coaches, and then about 20% for winter coaches. And so we've got a ways to go to make sure that we are showing that equity, like Craig said.
You know, it's interesting, you take a look at what's happened in Hollywood over the last, 8 months regarding support.
Right?
We don't see that in the NFL. They're getting paid.
And these are directors working with all students. I mean, we all
Yes,
have men's
absolutely.
basketball,
Right.
so this is a big job, so. Okay, that's my piece, thank you.
Anything else?
Nope,
Done?
nope,
No, it's the floor. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we have motions and a second. Anything further? Here and done then. Mary Beth?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Dylan?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. Moving on to discussion on our budget and defeasance. Derek? Bill?
So I had a couple questions that came in about defeasance, and I just wanted to kind of bring them to the whole board and just kind of maybe educate a little on that topic, because it's very nuanced and only happens in certain situations. So the first one was, how much did we defease last year? Roughly, it was about $630,000 of our referendum debt that was basically paid in advance, kind of like you'd make a prepayment or an extra principal payment on your house. So that's kind of what a defeasance is it's taking future payments, prepaying them, so you save that interest on those kind of prepayments. Is a good way to think about defeasance. And it only can happen in referendum approved debt, because other debt is controlled by the revenue limit, and referendum debt is kind of outside of the revenue limit formula. It's kind of an additional levy the voters approve and kind of give the school board the power to levy as they see fit, or how they set up their debt schedule related to that debt. So it kind of gives the opportunity, if the levy is coming down or property values increase drastically, like they did the last couple of years, the opportunity to kind of make extra principal payments on the debt to kind of save future interest payments for the taxpayers and the district. That kind of makes sense.
So,
That was better than.
I know, you didn't say it.
I'm not saying anything.
That was perfect.
So then your next question is, okay, if we make that future payment from last year, how much did we actually save? It was roughly $40,000 to $50,000 in future interest payments. That'll kind of help our operating budget for the district.
I'm not even gonna add to that because I'll confuse it. I will say this, though. I've never been in a position up until last year, which was an interim position, where we could do these. And I had all of these questions too. How are we making this happen? First of all, how can you do that? But I've learned a lot from Derek and Greg over the last few months, and it all makes sense. It's not simple, but it all makes sense.
So then that kind of covered questions 1 through 6 in a very paragraph format. I just kind of took them all at once and tried to break it down as simply as I could. Question 7 was, for the local tax revenue, what would kind of be the breakdown from defeasance or property tax increase? Your levy actually isn't impacted at all by the property tax increase. So the dollar figure you get on your tax bill, whatever your property value is, that's only what the mill rate is. So the dollar value divided by your property value, the levy amount that's associated to you divided by your property value is your mill rate. And that kind of goes for the district in itself. So if that property value goes up or down, it doesn't change the dollar amount associated with your property, kind of that the school district is setting. So it's kind of a mathematical number, not an actual like, hey, property values went up 10%. That doesn't give the district the authority to levy 10% more. We're still controlled by a revenue limit formula. It's just the end mill rate or kind of ability to pay is kind of the back end calculus that's done by the property tax values, like go up or down.
You're hired to come to every one of our referendums.
And that property tax value increase is made up of kind of two pieces too. It's either new construction, which adds value to the district itself, or inflation. And inflation just means everybody's house values went up, not the overall tax base that we can spread it upon. To kind of give some perspective on that as well. So
Because if everybody's inflates the same, then you're actually not raising the taxes.
right, so if everybody's goes up 10% and we raise the taxes 10%, everybody also saw a 10% increase because there's no new houses to kind of allocate that additional 10%.
It's the new houses or new commercial, they will be paying into that tax base as well. So that's where growth in your community is nice, because you start sharing some of that tax base. But out of our 8% increase, 2%'s it's new value, new growth, 6% is inflated. And that's a change over the last couple of years that we've seen. And of course, that's cross-country. I was told today that my own property tax, not today, I got mine, what I call the love letter a couple of days ago, 88%. My taxes are not going up 88%. It probably might even go down a touch because the average went up 100%. So we get worked up about that, but it's how much money is the municipality, the schools levying from you. That's the most important component. But as we move forward, we really need to be as clear and concise with this, and we're always looking at ways, and I'm starting to go the other direction. Sometimes I talk too much because and then it becomes a little bit more unclear, but we're building up for going into our annual meeting, which we'll talk more in depth about this, and then start laying the foundation of what a referendum is going to look like. Because the conversation, because of the inflated values that we're seeing today, changes how we explain all of this stuff.
So just to follow up, Derek,
Yep.
when we talk about the $630,000 we did last year and whatever amount we do this year, this is not money we could put into operations. This is money that is already pre-structured through the referenda, basically.
It's not pre-structured, it's kind of additional payments outside of our pre-structured debt schedule. So it's basically taking the back-end payments and moving them up because we have the ability in our levy to kind of levy additional dollars and keep the mill rate somewhat flat, or our total levy dollars a little flat, or in line with what new construction is.
So this is essentially the only logical thing we could do.
There's no way we can take that 630 and put it in our revenue limit or our kind of controlled levy, because if we did that, what it would do is the state would impose a penalty upon us, and we would just be kind of shifting money from the state to taxpayers. They take a dollar for dollar penalty on any amount you're over your revenue limit authority.
It comes into play, however, next spring when we go back to referendum, because that referendum will be an increase. Then we might defease less in this pool, because maybe in this pool it's going to go up a little bit, so we can keep some balances so we don't see really significant decreases, but more importantly, we don't see significant increases. We try and keep everything flat as much as we can. And you've got two pools, referendum debt and Fund 10, which is revenue limit. And so we can use that referendum, we can use defeasing when it's possible to lighten the impact when we have to go back to a referendum.
So in theory, we had 630 of extra levy authority we use. and then we can kind of shift that potentially into referendum dollars into fees less.
If we raise the limit
If,
in April.
Yes, if we raise, well, even what are we at,
2,
we're at 2.2 for our operations.
yep,
If we ask for the same, in theory, it could balance out, there's not an increase, because it's just backfilling what you're asking for. But that was 5 years ago. We'll run our 5-year Baird study. Derek and I and Greg have been in contact with Baird a number of times, specifically, and more Derek and Greg, getting ready for that to determine what does our 5-year need look like. We're hoping it doesn't go from 2.2 to 3.2, but common sense says it's probably going to increase a little bit, and that's where we use the defeasance and kind of weighing that out, because it would be nice to go to the public this spring and say, we need your support for operations. We're losing our operational referendum from 5 years ago, and here's how we plan on doing it, and you're not going to see an increase to your tax. That's the goal with all that. So,
Because, just so I understand, we can hopefully say that because we can raise the limit, have the referenda from a couple of years ago money tax it already happening.
correct.
And be able to shift without getting the penalty from the state.
If we need to defease less money to open up more revenue base from taxes, but it would be Fund 10 for the referendum and then less in Fund 39.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Good questions.
very good question.
Coming up, it's coming up, so.
So your kind of follow-up question is probably, okay, so what's our levy gonna be this year?
Well,
You don't have to answer that yet.
Not yet,
No, we won't know that until after October 15th, we won't know that for sure, but what Greg and I have been doing with our budget, we kind of have our budget publication format, which is kind of, we've talked to a lot of people, probably more than they would like, about their budget areas, and kind of went through and kind of really ironed out what our total revenues and expenses are gonna be for the year. We're projecting kind of our general fund, our operational fund, of right around $12.7 million in revenues and expenses. You'll remember Greg and I said we'd find that money to balance it. We have, and we've kind of ironed out some things, and we re-looked at some stuff, so we made that goal. But looking at the previous year, we were at $13 million in kind of revenue, so that's the ESSER funds and kind of one-time state monies going away. Kind of, that's why that revenue is declining in our operational funds. And we didn't have that much in expenses. We could have, and which is good because now we have revenues going down a little, expenses going up, and we're kind of balanced. We had a nice surplus last year, so that was a good thing. All the other funds, kind of debt service, we're projecting a kind of $2 million payment, revenue, tax levy, and interest, principal and interest payments. That includes roughly a $500,000 defeasance. Kind of giving that number away, so a little less than last year, but there's a strategy why we did that, and we'll get to that when we're going through the levy.
Okay.
The food service fund is operating in a deficit this year, which is anticipated. We had one-time kind of increased meal reimbursement rates during COVID from, I think it was 2018-19, or whenever COVID started until current. They ended as of June 30th, so this year the meal reimbursement rates are really declined compared to the previous years. So that's why that fund is operating in a deficit. It's not because we're overspending on food or buying top-of-the-line food. I'm sure the kids would tell you otherwise. Hot lunch is still hot lunch, even though it's still great. But it's not because we're overspending in that area at all. But there's also a nice surplus in that fund where we can kind of absorb that deficit and not have to have a transfer from Fund 10.
Well, thank you so much for all the information and the Excel spreadsheets,
Yep.
of those. And I too have been asking an insane amount of questions, and I think that's what happens when you have a level of transparency that you've never had before, and then your mind, I mean, it's super complicated, but these are worthwhile conversations and questions, and we'll get there, we'll just keep plugging away, so.
I have one more quick one.
Okay.
At the top, it says the revenue limit per member, the 11,000.
Yep.
Were we below, is that the new change?
That's the new cap.
Oh,
The
we were
new-
below that?
Yep, so it was, we were right around the 10,000 mark, and we're jumping all the way up to 11,000.
Okay,
We were low revenue.
okay,
We were below the ceiling.
Yep.
So we get to automatically move up. And of course, that's for us. We're still below, but that was a nice step.
yeah,
Or increase that others above that would not receive.
thank you.
And roughly at the end, the taxes are going up, I believe it's like just under 3%. So if you kind of take into, okay, going from 10 to 11,000 is 10%, and we're increasing the levy 3%, I think that's a very good kind of, and with knowing new construction was only 2%, I think we're doing very well by the taxpayers by not defeasing more, kind of raising it a lot.
And inflation was what?
6%.
6%. So a 3% with inflation at 6%. That said, we've got to take a look at, which we're going to talk about a little bit here in a minute. We've got to take a look at how we pay our employees.
So Greg is telling me he has a comment, but we're not able to hear him, so I'm not sure.
I'm sorry, I was on my, I call it my text machine with my kids.
Can he chat?
Yeah, we have been chatting.
He's been trying to get on. He's up.
He's on, he just, we can't hear him.
Tell him he's on the screen, so.
You should be able to see it, he's on the Zoom.
Oh, I see.
He is in. Everything was disconnected when we came in today, so we did our best trying to. Everything was. Appreciate Derek helping me out.
Greg, you're on speakerphone. There's more than one technology, I guess. What was your question? Sorry.
Well, I just have two comments. One on the diseases. I don't remember if you. Hold on, let's see if I can mute myself. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you were, if you discussed it or not, but the primary reason, really, I mean, there's two parts to that. One is keeping the levy flat, which is helpful, but the other piece of that is it just makes good business sense as well to be able to pay off that, prepay that debt and save the interest and expense. Excuse me, on the debt, so that's just one thing I wanted to add to that defeasance discussion. And then when Derek, was talking about food service fund 50, and even with the whole budget, I just want to kind of emphasize too that, you know, we don't have the historical perspective of a lot of the expenses that are happening, whether that be Fund 10 or Fund 50. But, so we're just kind of, you know, we went through the process, we looked at it as much as we can. I had Jesse Bender from the Toma School District help me with our food service, Fund 50, he's the food service director down there. So when we look at that negative balance there, you know, revenues over expenditures, that may be that way, it may not be that way. Again, we just have some unknowns, and I guess, I think Derek would agree, and Craig, is to just be patient with the budget, and we'll monitor it as time goes on.
So noted, Greg, thank you. If you guys didn't hear that, it was, and Derek mentioned that leveling off your or keeping your levy flat. The issue of not having the historical perspective is something I was concerned about, you know, back in July. So, you know, really Greg and Derek have done a really nice job working with a number of people, administration, as well as DPI, and some staff to put this together, and we'll be in a much better position when we start monitoring where we're at, probably starting about January, and then of course planning for next year. And again, with defeasance, anytime you can prepay anything, I think today, in terms of whether it's your car payment or your mortgage, we're all in a better place.
Thanks, Greg.
Okay, thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Derek, too.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? I almost didn't ask that.
I know, we're getting close to 7 here.
All right, moving on then, 7.2. Do I have a motion to approve an employee referral bonus of $500?
I'll make that motion.
Well, yeah, this ties into the obvious, you know, we're really having a difficult time with support staff specifically in our food service, you know, so we're just throwing something out there. We have an EA that's had at least one recommendation or referral, two, and we hired them. And we thought, well, let's start rewarding some people that are out that are advertising for us. You know, anything for people referring helps, and you know, we're still a little lean in the food service department, no pun intended.
Was that this year that you had a referral? Were we gonna
Oh, the last couple of weeks, right?
That would be my hope, that we would back.
We would
That's
back
what I'm asking.
it's this area, yes, yes.
That's what I was kind of getting
Yeah,
at.
thank you.
The roundabout way.
And the fine print here notes that the applicant would need to indicate that they were referred by the staff member, and the staff member who referred the hire would get the $500 referral bonus after the new hire has completed 6 months with the district. That's important too.
Well, yeah.
Retain them.
Right.
All right, we have our motions. Any other discussion? All right, you're done. Mary Beth? Mike?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Dylan?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. All right, brief update on our school perception survey.
No.
Summer school.
Summer school first.
And 8.1. Sorry, Kelly, I know, I wasn't moving it along for you. Kelly,
Yes.
I'm sure, is going to be sharing the summer school recap with us.
Well, we wrapped up summer school at the end of August, and at the end of September, we are now wrapping up the reporting that goes with it. So really, the highlight I can share is we had over 320 resident students that participated in some sort of summer school programming, and then 40 non-resident students. So that's wonderful, that's a huge celebration, and the continued highlight I will just share is all of the people that make that program happen. From our admin who are here throughout the summer, Bev stepping in the front office, taking those phone calls and doing attendance. It's a big team effort, so a lot of kids benefit.
And thank you to you for jumping in.
Happy to help.
With all of your new transitions here. Any other questions? You're probably already planning for next summer.
Hoping a few other things come before
Yeah. Thanks, Kelly. All right, now moving on to discussion and update on our school perception.
Yes, I met with via Zoom Bill Foster and one of his assistants last week, and as promised, he sent drafts today for surveys for all of our student staff and our community. And I will send that stuff to Barb, and Barb's going to serve as a liaison to the board. There was some discussion whether or not the board wanted to see this ahead of time. Typically, that's just not good practice. You really lose some validity of a survey, and of course, increase some potential biases if it's discussed at a public school board meeting. But I will share that with Barb, and we'll work with Bill to get that done. I think in a very timely manner. This would also be a good time to introduce Dr. Ritchie, Mike Ritchie from Hyatt Hazard Young and Atia. Bill had talked, or I had talked to Bill about our interest in doing our perception survey, as well as a survey that Mike embeds into the superintendent search. And I thought if we could do these at the same time and market this as transition and growth as a school district, we want as many people as we can to take these surveys to get feedback. But you know how that is. I got one, and then there's confusion without reading the well, I already took that. No, you didn't. It's a different one. Bill had suggested that we embed HYA's questions to the extent we can into the perception survey. And then, of course, Mike and Bill have done some work in the past together, so I got some emails, we can touch base on that in a little bit, Mike. That it looks like that's all coming into play, and that sounds good. But he also believes we can get this, up and running up in October and have some data for the superintendent search in the beginning of November. There'd be some value to that as well.
Awesome. Any questions?
Do you think we'll just try to do, if we're gonna do it annually in October every year going forward from that, or shift it to the end?
I don't know if I could answer that right now. There's never a good time. There just isn't. I think fall could be, the one thing about fall, you have maybe some new parents, new students, and new staff members that don't have any baseline anything. The problem with the spring, there's just so many things going on. Spring probably is a little bit more typical. Of course, people are, they're worn down in the spring too, so that'll be a further discussion.
Anything else? All right, moving on. 10.1, I have a motion to approve an open enrollment out student.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing done. Mary Beth?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Dylan?
Yep.
Angie?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. Personnel, do I have a motion to combine 11.1 and 11.2?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion? Hearing done. Mary Beth?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Dylan?
Yep.
Angie?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. All right. Next up, we'll be doing a board workshop and planning session for our superintendent search. So we're gonna take a quick recess. Admin, you're free to leave. So 5 minutes to the bathroom, come back.